What is going on, beautiful people? And welcome back to another episode of the Staincast. Of course, I'm one of your co-hosts, Mr. Stephen E. With me, as
What's up?
always,
What's happening, y'all? At this point, y'all better know our names or y'all switching
yes,
for
sir.
real.
We got some good movies to cover, or a good movie to cover today.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, our guest could not attend,
Couldn't hit
so
the three. He couldn't hit the three-peat.
he couldn't. There was some scheduling conflicts, but he'll be back at some point in the future. But this week we are covering The Menu, which was in both of our top 10 movies of last year. I think in similar spots as well.
I don't remember.
It's
It's
been,
so
it's
funny
been
because I literally like 2 episodes ago I was saying how December felt like yesterday, but it really didn't. That shit
no.
was a fucking minute ago. But yeah, I don't remember where I had. It must have been like 5, 6, 7, something. I'm trying to think.
Someone probably
Maybe a little
knows. Someone's
higher.
keeping track.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently, sure as hell, we aren't.
Yeah.
Movies 2022. I didn't have the menu on it because I didn't watch it until after the Staincast. That's right. But I did amend it next episode to say it would be on there if it was, which we will talk about here with how absolutely fucking absurd this movie is. But before we get into that, DL, you said you wanted to talk about something, what you've been watching recently.
Yeah, I mean, for anyone who has watched it, the Succession on Max, no longer HBO Max, it's just Max now.
I should get me
On
so inferior service too.
yeah, I didn't even. First of all, a little sidebar on the sidebar. Why is it a different app?
I don't know.
I was so confused
Bro.
because I opened up HBO Max and I'm like, oh, download Max. I'm like, is this like fucking spyware or something? Like, are you trying to get me to fucking like? I was like, what the hell is going on? Why am I getting downloaded? Asked to like just update the client of the I don't know, update the app.
It
I
was
don't.
stupid, so stupid.
Yeah,
Because
and I mean the good news is that it kept me signed in, so that's a big
see,
play.
it didn't for me because I was having that issue with my TV right before we started
Okay,
recording.
yeah. I mean this was on my iPad, so I'm assuming it's probably a little bit easier to keep that shit fucking in the
Yeah,
same spot.
probably, but it's
Yeah,
fucking it's
it's
a
just
pain in the ass.
unnecessary. Like cause I haven't even tried to download it on my TV yet. It's a different app, right? It's not just like for the mobile apps. It's
It's a
a different
completely
app.
different app. It literally a completely different app.
What the fuck, man? What the
So fucking
fuck?
ridiculous.
So at some point I'm gonna have to do that shit. But where was I? Yes. So anyone who was watching Succession finished this last weekend. 4 seasons, about 10 episodes a pop. It's alright. Let me blow my nose real quick. I'm a little got the sniffles. It was all right. For anyone who's watched it, you kind of it's the finale that's kind of has me. I'm not going to talk too much on it, but it's the finale that kind of has me like. I mean, I've spoken to death how much a finale can ruin a show. Everyone who's been on the
Yeah,
show has like it's too easy at this point to make fun of shows for having trash finales,
trash
but
finales.
it really is like it's so important. Like we joke around about it, but like you really got to finish. Like this is the last season, the last episode. And I feel like TV shows that can't help themselves just getting way too much done in the finale. Like this is Succession's no exception to it. There's so many other shows too. I don't even have to list all of them because I'm sure everyone knows that one show. But like
The Walking
you
Dead,
literally,
Game
it's
of
like you have
Thrones.
10 episodes in the final season, an hour a pop, and then you literally have all of the falling action in the finale. It's like, isn't that what the
Well,
final season's for? Not the
well,
final episode? Like,
I know absolutely nothing about it. Succession. I've never watched a
yeah,
single episode. I heard good things online, but
yeah.
I know that you said that it's kind of just it's whatever.
It's not bad. I will say in season 4 there was some fantastic moments, like literally some like jaw dropping moments that you didn't get from any of the seasons previous. So I'll say that I'll give it that respect. Where it was like if the rest of the seasons were on like a 7, like not rating, just like in terms of like energy, the season 4 was on a 10. Like it did the classic. Like I know a lot of shows do that, where like as soon as they get to that final season, they don't fuck around anymore. Like Better Call Saul is a perfect example of it, where literally as soon as you get to that final season, you can just tell the shift where like nobody's fucking around. Like everyone's acting, writing, freaking just everything about it is just so
Perfect.
fine tuned. Exactly, so perfect. So when you have I don't know, the finale just kind of goes off the rails for me. Anyone who has watched Succession and want to talk about it for some reason, you can like leave a comment or whatever and let me know what you thought of it. But I thought it was all right. Maybe 7 out of 10. Way too early rating since recency bias, but 7 out
Yeah.
of 10.
Okay. I mean, I have nothing that I've
What
been
I say?
watching.
Would I recommend people to watch it? No, not for four
No.
seasons.
Okay.
Especially when I said it in our chat, but obviously everyone who's watching this isn't in our chat. Seasons 2 and 3 are just wheel spin. Like I just can't up. Like after watching season 4, I'm like, wow, we really like. That's why season 4 was such like a step up because they weren't doing that shit for an entire season. Because the whole
Mhm.
point of it is basically it's exactly like the name implies. It's just the kids of a media mogul are like fighting to inherit the business. The succession plan is
Succession.
like
Yeah.
technically succession plan for the business, but it's like if you watch the first episode, it kind of deals with everything that's going on, and then it just kind of goes back to just I don't know. It's so weird. Like it's someone who has to watch it. I have to have a conversation with them on here for like it to make sense because
Okay.
it's just kind of weird. But whatever. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Like
Yeah. I mean,
it
for me
can't hurt me no more.
personally, for me, it's probably gonna get taken off my list of stuff to watch then
Yeah,
because
there's too many great shows out now and literally
coming
within the
out.
last let's say coming out or have came out. Like there's so many great shows that there are people that gloss over. And like if you're trying to watch a good show and you're like putting this over like Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad or like Game of Thrones or any of that, don't do it. Definitely not. Don't do it.
Yeah, I know we were talking about it beforehand. I know we both started Barry, so
Mm-hmm.
I've heard nothing but good things about it. So I'm excited. I mean, I'm rocking with what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah. I'm really early. I'm like three
Only
episodes
being
in,
I
so
was only being half a season, and it's pretty good. And the only other things that I have looking forward to this month, that show, The Idol with The Weekend, comes out this Sunday,
I
and
can't
then
believe that show's coming out.
I
That's
can't either. I mean,
ridiculous.
I'm gonna tap in because why not?
That's gonna be ass.
Oh, it
I
is.
don't know why people are surprised. It's like this man's a singer. It's like we saw him in Uncut Gems. It's like it's the weekend.
It's
Like
literally The Weekend. It's gonna be ass, but I'm still gonna tap in because why the fuck not?
yeah. What is it?
But
What is it, like a mini series? Like what the hell even is it?
it's from the creator of Utopia. It's a season long so far. If it gets renewed, it gets renewed. It has like a
So
nine percent,
it's gonna be like a fucking sex dungeon show then. Like it's just gonna
pretty
be
much.
ridiculous amounts of friggin' horny men and women.
Apparently, it's supposed to like revolutionize the sexuality of women. I don't know what that means, but that is what
I'm just gonna lean
the
back for
director
that
and
one.
director or writer, whatever the fuck, whoever it's one of the creators of the show said. Don't know what that means, but I mean,
It hasn't been done
whatever.
already.
I don't know. But then we have Secret Invasion coming out the middle of the month, which I mean,
True.
anybody who's listened to the MCU part of the Staincast recently knows that we're not happy with Marvel, but Secret Invasion at least looks interesting.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if it's just gonna be Samuel L. Jackson, like fuck it, like I'm here for that. Like if it's just gonna be him, just kind of in his own world, because I'm sure. I mean, they just have no continuity anymore, so I'm sure it'll just be self-contained somehow. With the world being scrolls, it's still gonna be self-contained.
yeah, I mean, I am kind of tight though because like they just recently dropped the first trailer for the Marvels, and Sam Jackson's in it, so they pretty much confirmed that hey, he doesn't die in Secret Invasion,
Maybe
which
he's a scroll. Maybe he's a scroll in the Marvels.
don't go on with this fucking scroll bullshit.
I mean, like when you it's when you introduce scrolls,
I
you
know
do whatever the
it's like
fuck you want. Like
Rhodey's a
some
scroll.
things,
I'm calling it now. I'm calling it now. Rhodey's a scroll.
it's like there's no rhyme or reason to it. Like it's not like there's no identifiable qualities. They're fucking literally the actors. Like the only way you're knowing is if they reveal it to you. There is gonna be no like just seeing it.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess that's enough of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's time. We'll tap into the menu. Fantastic movie. So for those of you who have not seen this movie, first off, go watch it. Except
Yeah.
Jacob, you pissed me off about that, but we'll get into that later.
Did he like explain it to you? Did you ask
No,
him for an explanation?
no, I have not.
That
Um,
bastard.
let me actually. I'll text him right now. I'll see if he answers before the end of this.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I asked him in the damn fucking comments, that piece of shit. I said, "What did you not like about it?" Because he was hating.
I know.
But
But so for us, it was one of the best. But so I did not expect. For those of you who don't know, this movie is considered a horror comedy. And before I watched this movie, and just based on the trailers, I did not think that what was gonna happen happened. I did not expect this to be a horror comedy. I just thought it was gonna be just a ridiculous movie about the kitchen.
calling it a comedy. I mean, a horror movie is
It is a
show.
stretch, but it is what is considered. I was literally just looking at it on HBO. I'm sorry,
No.
on Max, and and yeah,
It's not like we've both watched countless amounts of horror movies, and this doesn't like. There's not
this is not. This is a straight up
like,
comedy movie that
yeah,
involves killing, and I think
like killing,
that's
yeah,
the aspect that makes it horror is because
yeah,
it involves a killer.
yeah. I guess it's more like psychological, where it's just like this guy's out of his fucking mind or whatever, blah yada yada yada. Like the situation they're in, I guess you could say is scary because they can't escape or whatever. Which I'll get into that because that's like the only like that's like the Achilles heel of this movie for me.
Is the fact that they
It's
can't
like
escape.
it's the fact that they can, but they don't. They do a terrible job. But we can just freaking start getting these segments cooking up because I think my dinner's gonna be ready soon. So we'll get this.
Yeah,
Nice.
we'll get cooking. So I guess just hopping right in then. Favorite and least favorite characters. I mean,
Chef.
yeah, the chef is the favorite. Chef, what was it? Slovak. Slovak. Um, he's really the only character like of substance in the movie besides Margot, which
Mm-hmm.
you can also say because it's also Anya Taylor-Joy and she's very nice to look at, which we'll get into later. But Slovak's the only character that has any form of like development like that. That like really, he's the reason you're watching this movie. There's really no other reason you're watching it besides to see what he does and how fucking insane he is. Because the more you watch him, the more he grabs your attention.
Yeah, it's like when he's not on screen in this movie, it's like it's not. I mean, I don't want to say it's not interesting because I don't think the movie is very interesting to begin with, and that's not a bad thing. Like it's just not like a super in-depth movie. Like there's not a lot going on with it. Like it's kind of just like they're trapped in like a murderous chef's kitchen. Like I wouldn't say like that's like a super interesting premise, but it's entertaining and it's
I think
freaking
it's
mind
also
numbing. Like
I think it's a little more interesting for like people who are in the restaurant industry because like this is definitely interesting for me as someone who's worked in it and enjoys working in it.
yeah,
So, but continue.
yeah. No, I mean I agree with that point as well. I mean, being a service person myself at one point too, it's funny because like especially like some of the jokes he makes and stuff, and like just like all the chefs in the back and like the way that they scream at like I don't know, it's really
It
well
also helps that
done.
we've probably all watched a lot of we've both watched a lot of Gordon Ramsay as well. So like the
Yeah,
Yes
Gordon
Chef and all
Ramsay,
that other stuff,
freaking yeah,
Kitchen Nightmares
that's a
and all that other shit.
freaking bar
Shadow
rescue.
Gordon.
Even
Yeah,
though he's
yeah,
not
even
like
John
technically a chef,
Taffert.
but yeah, I fucking love that man, John Taffer. He the goat for real.
That's true. That bar rescue is fucking goated.
Yeah. So main character chef for obvious reasons. Anyone who's seen the
Mhm.
movie knows why.
Like you
Least
said,
favorite
Margot's a
character.
close second. Margot's a close second just because she's the
I
only
mean,
other character besides him that has development.
yeah. I forgot. I mean, I guess you could call it a plot device. I forgot what the word for it is, where she's just there just to like speed up the plot, like kind of just like move things around.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know the fucking name of it either, but I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. It's a
Oh,
plot
he
convenience or
fucking
whatever you want to call it. I'm sure. So I'm sure when I'm watching this over again, I'm gonna be like, "Fuck, how did I not know that?" Whatever. Uh,
I forgot this. I
shit.
forgot this man is in this movie.
I forgot what I was gonna
I
say. Oh yeah, my least favorite character. Who are you talking about?
I forgot the fucking Scrooge is in this movie. John Leguizamo.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, he
I
can
forgot
play
he's in
Sid.
this
He's
movie.
Sid too, isn't it? Doesn't he play Sid the fucking sloth? No, that's someone else.
No, that's someone
Dude.
else.
Yeah, for some reason I always think of him. I think he must have
But
been someone.
he's just. The reason I said Scrooge is because that's what the character he plays in Violent Night. Fucking Paul Edelstein is in this movie too. Forgot about all these motherfuckers. Anyways, your least favorite character?
It's probably gonna go to. I mean, Tyler's the easy one. Like,
Yeah, because of the events of the movie.
Tyler isn't easy to pick on. Like, that's like his like obviously even as the story goes on, it's even worse. It's like when he knew that he was bringing her to die. It's like, all right, now this
Yeah,
guy is
that
literally
twist. That's I will say that was a good twist because I did not expect that
yeah.
much.
It was just kind of like piling on at this point because he's already not a good person, and I'm not like I don't like his character at all. And then
No.
you introduce that. Now you introduce the fact that he knew that they're all going to die. He straight up told them, and he said nothing about it. It's like, all right, this guy is literally dead. Like he's dead to me. I want no
Yeah.
part of that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's got no really redeeming qualities to it, and then all of the rest of the other characters are just
Not even Beast. Not even Beast.
Not even
That shit was
Beast.
mid.
That's true. I remember when we rewatched fucking First Class in Sweegs in my
ass.
apartment, and yeah, that shit was. I remember that being so much better than it was.
Yeah, it was corny as hell.
And it was like me, you, and Smoke all had the same reaction. It was ridiculous.
It was just not good. Like
It wasn't. It really wasn't.
Yeah, there was just kind of like no, like ugly. There wasn't like one scene that just completely threw. It was just the entire movie. Like it was like, damn, this shit's not funny anymore.
Yeah, and we won't be covering any of those fucking X-Men movies. We already covered Logan. We'll cover the other two Deadpool. That's probably about it.
Did you have like a favorite joke? Did you write down? Only because I was just looking at the doc, and I saw that we had favorite joke for comedy, but I forgot we haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, I personally just completely forgot about that. So no, I did not have it. Did you have something written down?
I didn't write it down, but it's pretty funny when she was like, "Oh, what kind of fish did you eat last time you were here?" Or no, what kind of food did you eat last time you've been here 11 times? Mm-hmm. Was one thing that I served you? And his wife is like, "Cod," and he says cod, and he's like, and he called it like a donkey or something.
Yeah,
you donkey. It was halibut. She's like, "What does it matter? It matters to the halibut." I think that's a good one. There's so many other ones too that I'm just forgetting at the moment.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing, like, it's. I love how it's like, edit like the editing. I think is phenomenal in this movie. The way that they do it around the dishes, and each course. That's the word I was looking for. It's just like, and the more that you know what's going on, the more that each course's name and description makes sense.
Yeah. Jeremy's the mess.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite scene in that entire movie. Not to skip forward ahead too much, but
I mean that is the next topic anyway. So
yeah. I was gonna say, oh yeah, one more little side thing. Will Ferrell's the producer on this. I'm not sure if you saw that. Will Ferrell, he's a producer, and the weirdest thing about that, right? It's like when Leia said to Luke when he's like, "Oh, like you're my sister," or something. Like, she's like, I always knew. That was me when I saw Will Ferrell as the producer. Like that's his comedy style. Like that's as soon as I heard his name, I was like, oh,
yeah, that makes sense.
And it's like I don't really even know like what specifically about it. It makes it like Will Ferrell comedy or whatever. But then I started
it is. It literally is.
It's like the loud. It's like the loud like noises followed by silence followed by screaming again or something. Like I don't even really know like how
it just has a very similar style to a movie that he would be in or make. Also, little side note to the side note to the side note. Since we're already shitting on Max, IMDb still says watch on HBO Max and not watch on Max.
I gotta get that updated, bro.
That's what I'm saying. They're out of date.
That shit switched like May 24th or something too. They're awesome.
It's such a shit service. Let's see if Jacob elaborated. Oh, he did.
We'll get to that. Don't we can get your fresh reaction on that unless you already read it.
No, I didn't read it at all. I just scrolled. So we'll read that in a minute.
Yeah.
But
so favorite scenes.
Yes, going right into favorite scenes.
We're getting into.
Yeah.
So I think that by that one, what I said before, like the scene when Jeremy shoots himself in the fucking mouth, because it kind of is like the halves of the movie. It's like them still thinking that
it's a regular,
it's just like he's just a weird chef or whatever it is. Like he does things differently, and then the guy just shoots himself in the face. And the craziest part is that, I mean, I hate those food critiques too. I mean, because the whole movie is like, obviously it's like it's a critique on critics, or however you want to say it, which I think is probably one of its strengths too.
Criticizing the critics,
which I think is another one of its strengths. But they were absolutely they're stupid, for lack of better words. Honestly, they were getting me so tight. But I guess someone had to kind of like play devil's advocate, like, oh, he's so good with all the acting is so good or something like that, is whatever word they said. But I don't know, man. Something about that scene. It's probably just because like you kind of see like everyone's demeanor just changes. Chef's demeanor changes. Even the people in the kitchen, like everyone, because then he makes it known. He's like, all right, everyone's gonna die tonight. So it's like we're just hanging out. We're just waiting.
Is
Exactly.
he,
It's like an
is,
hour difference.
it's the next scene that he sends them all into that maze too, right? Or is that like that's two after?
What do you mean, mage? You mean like when he lets the men try to
Yeah,
escape?
yeah.
Yeah, it's the next one after. I think they have the chorus, and then everyone's like freaking out and shit. And then he sends because they still got to cut off that guy's finger too.
Oh yeah,
The guy,
I forgot. That is one thing. The order of events is a little rough. I mean, I've only seen the movie twice.
yeah, yeah. Only seen the movie twice too, and I will agree with you. I think the first time it's like when you don't have any reference because it's your first time watching it. It's like, oh, whatever. But then when you watch it, it's like, yeah, this definitely could be told better. I think some scenes just didn't need to be in it. To be honest, it was a short movie and it could have been shorter,
Shorter.
which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of wild.
What is it
But
now? It's an hour and
hour
20.
46. I think it's
Hour
hour
46.
46.
Hour 47.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
it could have been a
Yeah.
little shorter. It could have been like
Mm-hmm.
an hour 20, hour 30.
Yeah. But that's fine. I mean, I don't think like if I'm like nitpicking, or not even nitpicking, if I'm just like really like trying to figure out what gets me the most tight about this movie, it's not the length. Honestly, I think there's other things that you could pick apart.
Yeah, I mean, so
Yeah.
my favorite scenes. I mean, there's the classic fucking picture of
Oh yeah, when he's whispering in
yeah,
his ear,
Chef
I
whispering
had
into
that written
Tyler's
down.
ear. That's a
Literally
great one.
iconic.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably only iconic between us,
Yeah.
but it is. That shit is weak. I don't have it on my laptop, or else I'd pull it up.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can find it.
All right, while you're doing that, also I think the ending s'more scene is
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. Very well done. Very like you see everybody kind of accepting their fate. Like at that point, they're just defeated. They know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Chef is satisfied with his meal, drops the lighter, and then he let fucking Margot out of there. There it is. Here it comes. It's loading right now.
Fuck.
It might just be my screen that it's loading on, but I know it's there. I know what it is.
So if you guys can see this, just know that this picture
Oh,
is
there it is. There it is.
it's been sent way too many times in our group chats. Just know that. That's all you gotta know. You don't gotta know why. You don't gotta know like how it started. You don't gotta know any of that. Just know that it's been sent.
This has been said too many times.
Ludicrous amount of times. Yeah, absolutely. Let me get that out of here so you guys can stop looking at that. I'm trying to think if there's another like standout scene. Like, obviously, the whole the whole like. I mean, anytime Chef's on screen, right? It's like
literally anytime he's on screen.
Yeah, like I said it earlier in the episode, where it's like he just needs to be on screen for me to be like interested in what's going on. Because the other characters, like all these B characters, are like couldn't give a shit about those gangbangers or whoever they were. I don't know who they were. I don't know if they were assassins. I don't know if they were like suits. I didn't really care
give a fuck
either
about a single person in the movie star, the fucking the couple, the social media influencers or whatever the fuck were in there. Like I don't give a fuck.
The only person that I wasn't interested in. I just because I watched House of Cards, the old guy. And when you watch House of Cards, that's Donald Blythe, Vice President, the friggin' Frank Underwood.
Richard Burton. Is that what you're talking about?
I think so. I'm not even sure his real name. I only ever see him and think of Donald Blythe. Yeah, because he's such a fucking doormat in that movie, and he's such a doormat in this movie. He's exactly the same character, literally, except he's got a fucking. He's a politician.
I got the movie playing on my TV behind me now.
What scene's it at?
It's literally the beginning. Fucking, they just started eating their first meal, like in the restaurant.
What else? Scenes wise? Oh, another scene I like is the whole. I mean, honestly, it's probably one of my favorite scenes of the movie. Again, would be when she says them when she freaking confronts his ass and is like, "Oh, I'm sending my food back" or something, and then he kind of just pulls up. She's like, "Oh, I want a cheeseburger," and he's like, "I'll make you the best cheeseburger
you've ever had."
Yeah, that shit's amazing.
And then he's like crying, making the cheeseburger.
The cheap ones your parents could barely afford. Like he was deep in his bag. Exactly. Like when he made the cheeseburger and he squished it down, he was in fucking tears making that shit.
I mean, that's probably the best
cheeseburger acting.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He's fucking I need more movies with him in it. But that's probably the best cheeseburger she's ever eaten in her entire life, like dead ass.
I would That was probably the best cheeseburger I'd ever eaten in my life too.
I mean,
That shit looked fucking
yeah,
really good. I like. I'm about to steal that. How he puts the cheese cross section on each other like that. How he didn't put one piece of cheese. He did like two that were like stacked on top of
oh
each
yeah,
other like that.
you've never done that? That's a classic.
No.
I've been doing that for
Yeah.
fucking years. Friendlies is what taught me that, unfortunately.
Mm. The alma mater. Yeah, I mean that whole scene is amazing. When she's like, and then she's pretty smart. She's like, "Oh, can I get it to go?" And he's like, "Yeah, fuck it,
Yeah,
why
fuck
not?" Because
it,
he's
yeah.
literally, because he's back to fucking being a kid again. Like I think that, like everyone else isn't acting; they're just kind of playing themselves for the most part. I would say, because that's kind of how comedies are. But he's the only person in character. Like he is,
Mm-hmm.
and it's show,
He's
and like that's why it's so good because it's like
It's
no one
because
else
of
is
him.
trying to be. Because like no one else is trying for obvious reasons of being like comedy. You don't need like some super developed like in depth character, sure, or whatever. But he really is that. But he's that character, and it's just a weird juxtaposition between people who are just playing themselves. With I mean, obviously, what's her name? Uh,
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Anna Taylor Joy. Yeah, obviously she's playing a little bit of a part, but for the most part, it's pretty standard stuff. Like it's not like there was anything unique about her character. But the chef, whew, he's fucking Voldemort. He does so much shit.
Yeah,
Freaking love that man.
he's got a
He did another
versatile
one. Damn
fucking.
it. Yeah, he did another really good movie. Oh, the something game, not the Imitation Game. It's a
I
movie
was
about a
just
game
looking.
show. Oh, the game show. The game show.
The
Good
game
movie.
show.
Old movie. The game show. Old movie. Pretty good movie. He's really young in that movie. He actually has hair. It's pretty weird.
Oh, he has, damn! I'll have to tap in.
You know, it's old. No, it's like 80s or 90s or something like that. Good movie though.
Oh, dang.
But side notes aside, did you have any least favorite like break moments?
Um.
I don't know if I had anything specifically. It was more just
Yeah,
like in
nothing
general.
nothing that really like stands out. I mean, I think we spent a
Oh,
little too much
another good
time.
scene. I don't mean to cut you off. Another good scene is when the Coast Guard pulls up. That was like actually some pretty good tension.
Yeah,
that was pretty well done.
and then
Yeah, he
nothing.
lights the fucking candle. Yeah. What were you
Um,
saying?
but so I think we spent a little too much time with some of the side characters. However, I think
Mm,
that's also the point because we're wanted to hate them, so that way we feel a
yeah.
little better about them dying. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, in a certain way, like you can kind of like I don't even know. I don't even know how I want to say. Because I was gonna say like, it kind of is like slanted towards like his point of view. Like I feel like you kind of like see all the negative lights on them, but like nothing bad about him. Besides, of course, him being a homicidal maniac or whatever. Like that's different.
Being absolutely
But like
fucking nuts.
in terms of like his character, he's not as flawed as some of these characters are. So it almost kind of is like showing all the terrible things about these people. I mean, like they're not great people to begin with, but it was really like highlighting theirs.
Mm,
But
gotcha.
fuck these characters. Like all of these
Yeah,
B characters, like you said, I couldn't care about any of them.
I
Like
don't
that
give two
whole
fucks.
and even his mother too. I think that was kind of wasted. Like her just being in the back the entire movie, just
She's like
drinking
passed
herself
out
to
from
death.
drinking. Yeah, like
It's like you had that kind of decent story he told about like his dad wrapping the telephone wire around her neck or whatever. That was like kind of gripping, but then you kind of just pull back and then you just never talk about her or that again.
or that. Yeah,
A little
you just pull
upsetting.
back and then oops.
Yeah, but it's a comedy. That's why I can't. It's difficult to review a comedy because they're not really meant to be reviewed. They're more meant to just kind of like people
Be
laughing is the
enjoyed.
review,
Yeah,
not like people going on a podcast and talking about it for
talking
fucking
about it
50
for
minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
But regardless, I don't really have much else.
No,
That's about
like
it.
I'll just talk about it in the yeah. I feel like the yeah eats are a little bit more appropriate for it. Like there was no like moment. I mean, I want to. I mean, I was just gonna say that I think Anya Joy Taylor's,
Anya Taylor Joy.
whatever, friggin' Margot, her character I think was a little like I think she was overacted a little bit, like her like being this like boss, like freaking always walking with a chin up type thing. I think she was a little over the top for me when she's like
I feel
I
like
don't know,
that's a lot of her characters, though. I mean,
she was like
we saw the
super
same stuff.
sassy.
We saw the same stuff out of her in Last Night in Soho when we reviewed that.
Hmm. That's true.
And
Sassy characters just get me fucking tight sometimes.
even in the Mario movie, her voicing Peach, which she's not a good voice actor, but
I don't even remember that.
like she still has like it's just Anya Taylor Joy. Like that's all it is.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, I don't have anything else besides that. If I can think of something else, I'll bring it up. But I think it's something in the it's a little bit more appropriate.
Also, throwback to watching fucking New Mutants in like 3 different sessions at fucking Shed or at Xander's Shed because we literally couldn't finish it.
I don't know why we wanted to.
I think because we just started it, so we were like, "Oh, let's watch it," and then we got through.
I mean, we were holding
like,
out hope. We were like, "Oh, maybe this movie's redeemable," and then it gets fucking worse, and we kept watching it.
Kept going.
Like, I don't understand. Like, at some point, we should have pulled the plug halfway through.
Well, we did, and then we went back and started again in a different time we were there. I don't know why we doubled back. I think that was our mistake.
I feel like that might have been the movie where we had the orange crush instead of water. That's all.
Oh my god, it was. It definitely was.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why. That's why we were doing that.
Yeah.
We were moving stupid wacky using fucking crush.
I can't believe we did that.
Something I don't like to speak on.
I forgot we did that.
That was a great idea.
That was a fantastic.
There's a reason. Like, look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all we're gonna say. If it isn't broke,
if it ain't broke, don't fucking fix it. I guess we can move on to favorite quotes though, because your din is ready, so we'll speed this along a little bit.
Did it? Is that what it said?
I think so.
No. Yeah. I didn't even really write down that much quotes.
There's not many. I mean, like,
yeah,
like the one you said,
the halibut one.
Yeah, or even your hot dishes are cold. Like, there's not really much. Yes, chef, of course.
Yeah, yes, chef.
Yes, chef.
But I'm trying to like.
There's really nothing. Like, there's really nothing quote wise.
No.
It's not a quotable movie, but again, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, and I'll just reiterate again that scene where he's talking about the cheeseburger. I think that's another one of those scenes, but it was already spoken about. So that's all I got.
Yep. All right, then we'll move right along into the AI moments. Now, you said you had a few for this. So, what you got?
So it's more of just like, I mean, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I'm not a director, so I don't know the first fucking thing about directing. But I feel like they should have been tied up or something. There should have been more of a restraint than just like the bodyguards sat pressed up against the wall. It's like nobody swung on the chef once. Nobody even got in his face. And one person tried to escape and got his finger cut off. It's like, and then the other people don't even, I don't know how Anya Joy Taylor found a fucking boat, but none of those guys who were running could find one. The boat fucking worked too. The one guy, the one Chad, had like a fucking rowboat. But she had a fully functioned dual engine fucking regular boat. Like, how did nobody find that shit? She was running for her goddamn life. She was doing the exact same thing she was doing. And I don't know, whatever. That was stupid. I think they should never have given that Chad guy a boat.
That was the Coast Guard thing. Okay. I think that's what it was.
Okay. But whatever. I'll double back to my point. They should have been tied down or something. I think.
Yeah, there definitely was less of a. They kind of just took, like, literally, they stood there and took it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like sure you could be like, oh yeah, like that's how people like that are. Like they're not used to working with their hands. So I mean, fuck off first and foremost, because that's just like I don't know. You can't explain
it's bullshit.
The movie like that. But whatever. I just think that like the stakes for that movie just weren't very big when you had this guy just walking around who's not a very imposing guy. If it was like The Rock, who was the chef, okay. Nobody's throwing fucking punch. This guy's like what, 5'10" probably, freaking by like $180.
Let's find out. Let's find out. Ralph.
Half the people in that room could have dropped him. Like, he'd get freaking knocked out by half the people in that room. But even so, it's like
he is 5'11".
Even so, it's like it's difficult to. Again, it's a comedy, but when you call it a horror comedy, you're like you open yourself to freaking scrutiny for when you're not scary, and it wasn't scary because they weren't tied down or they weren't restrained. They weren't like if the bodyguards had like pieces on them, like they were fucking sitting like with the gun like in at their waist. Okay, that's a pretty big deterrent.
Well, they were just
but by the time you get the chef and you start fucking letting them have that shit, when they're gonna get off you, he's gonna be a fucking bloody mess. Like by the time they even stop you, exactly, it's like all you have to do is kill him. You're dying anyways. Fuck it. You might as well take them with you. It's like no one even tried to do that. And then they just allowed them to like put the these s'mores on them. Also, his chat about the s'mores was like, oh my god, the part where he had her boyfriend cook the food, and then he said this is the worst thing ever that made him fucking kill himself.
Oh yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I love how he's like, oh yeah, he's like, and then like he said, like, oh, you are the reason why the mystery of our the mystery's been taken out of our art or something like that. He had a pretty good quote. I forgot what it was, because it really is a semi and like I know I said it wasn't interesting, but I'm gonna fucking rehash and say that the story behind it actually was like I did like the like how it was more than just like a comedy in terms like there was actually a lesson.
It was
more than just like saying please or fucking being nice or something like that. It was
it definitely was like this is a form of art, like you can't be shitting on like for no reason type of thing.
Mm-hmm. It's like I mean the whole undertone of the movie, I think it really is like it's very accurate. The whole concept of like, oh, you have like people who are just like culture vultures, but like for other, not just the culture itself, you know what I'm saying, where it's just like for food vultures, where it's like you literally just have to know everything, and it's like, oh, do you want perfect, but there is no perfect, so it's like where's the line?
Where's
like,
the line?
Like it really does have some pretty interesting commentary thrown into it, and I appreciate that. And that's why I still like, even though I feel like I've been kind of rude to the movie, I still really enjoy it because I mean it's not
hard.
serious.
It's hard to explain. Very hard to explain.
Yeah. Exactly. It's definitely a movie you should watch, or you just like you have to watch before you like kind of get your opinion on it. You can't just like look at trailers and be like, oh, I don't want to see a movie about a bunch of people just like in a house or whatever the hell your opinion on it is.
Also, just because it's on and I completely forgot about it until I'm seeing it right now. The tortillas.
The
tortillas are ridiculous. Yeah.
Then they were like concerned of it holding up in court. I'm like, bro, just eat it. It's a fucking tortilla. He's like, oh, bro, is a tortilla gonna hold up in court? Like, just eat it.
It's gone. The evidence is in your stomach. Gone.
Yeah. Maybe that was pretty funny. Yeah, that was another good one when he caught all them lacking, and then when he didn't give them bread, that was another thing, where it's like, it's just like when you have Anya Joy-Taylor and you have freaking the chef. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Ralph Fiennes or something like that. I think it would be
Fiennes.
Yeah, however you'd say. Like they're just so above and beyond the main characters, and everyone else is just on freaking garbage duty. Honestly, like they're literally
they phoned it in for an easy paycheck.
Yeah, it's like it's not even just like, but that was by design though. Like it was phoned in by design. Like it wasn't like them pulling up, getting a script, and being like, "I'm gonna deliver all my lines on the flattest tone possible." Like
that's just how all the characters are written. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like they're written to be used. Like they're written to be like, "Wow, this is my life is for like, oh, we should do something. He can't get away with that." Like this guy just nope. They have chairs, and instead of like the chef was beside the window when he had the chair trying to break it. I'm like, hit him with the damn chair.
Don't hit the window. Hit the dude keeping you here. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much else besides like what you said.
Yeah, and once again, it's fucking comedy, so it kind of has that freaking like it's got that arm out. It's ready to just fucking escape, being like, nah. It's a comedy. You're doing too much to freaking dissect it, but
yeah, but whatever. I mean, it's what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess then it's time to lean in.
Kenobi.
We got the thirsty moment of the movie here, ladies and gentlemen. Of course. Yeah. And as I said earlier in this episode, Anya Taylor-Joy is very nice to look at.
Is anybody surprised by that answer? Is there anyone else throughout this entire movie? Like maybe Scrooge's freaking or whatever his name is, like side piece, maybe.
But it's Anya Taylor-Joy. I also just found out recently that she speaks Spanish, so that's bumped. I didn't realize that. That bumped up a couple of points for me. But this dress that she's wearing right now, sheesh.
Yeah. No, she's pretty. I just too thin for me. For my taste.
Yeah,
I'm not saying look. I'm not gonna walk into the corner. I'm not saying she's too thin. I'm saying for my taste.
I agree. For my taste as well. I do like a girl with a little more meat on on her bones, but still, we ain't mad at it.
No, absolutely not. Even if in some lights with a really powdered face, she kind of looked like Michael Jackson. But we're not going to say. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. But it's something to look forward to if you watch this movie again. And some lights, and I was like, I thought I was tweaking, but I was like, obviously, the white version of Michael Jackson for anyone who is confused. She kind of looks just like him because she has like the cheekbones and like the freaking all that.
You're kind of right though.
Yeah, right. A little bit.
Also, Bang Slander is back. Bang Slander is back.
It was never gone.
I know. It was never gone, but we haven't spoken about it in a while because we haven't needed to. Now we need to. Don't get bangs.
Don't do it.
Please don't. Very few women can pull off bangs.
No more of our subtle misogyny. We're done with that. It's okay, guys. We love it. But we can jump into something else.
Yes.
Now that.
Of course, as usual, every Saturday we take to Instagram at the Staincast to ask you guys a lovely question, get you involved, get y'all talking, see what you think. And as we said, how many episodes ago, we're doing easy questions because y'all actually like to answer these ones. So
I told you I'm done, bro. This is me. This is me till freaking eternity, until freaking Jesus returns to Earth to save us. This is literally me.
Yeah. So we got some nice answers this week. It's kind of ironic that two people said the same one, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Did you put it on?
I already did. I'm looking at it right now. It's on volume 2. It's on volume 2. It's on volume 2. It's on volume 2. Oh.
I only see MODOK.
It's right after MODOK.
Oh no! Oh, there it is. I refreshed.
Sorry, guys. DL's throwing.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So we asked you guys this week which restaurant has the best menu, which I guess could also just translate to which restaurant is your guys' favorite, but maybe they're two different things. So who knows? Miss Olivia Jones says the Merc in Saratoga Springs. Have yet to go there. It might.
Do you know?
I have no idea. Absolutely none.
Like seafood, like
I don't know. Bro, I've been here for a week and a half. I don't know these things yet. Okay. Next up, we got Mumbarilla, who said drop the Mott's.
You can't.
Anybody who doesn't know, I hope he doesn't. I really hope he doesn't, because we also got another response for Friendlies being the Hood.
Like, look, it's good feasting food. Like, it's good for just like if you're like kind of a little out of your sorts and you need a little bite to eat. Sure,
it's
why not?
It's like fucking garbage. It is so garbage.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, this is fast food. This is Friendlies. Like, it is literally they're neck and neck with each other.
This is fast food. This is Friendlies. They're on top.
Depends on the location. Depends on Sayville. Friendlies of Sayville. Yes.
Friendlies of Medford.
It's got a little bit. If we're working there, if we're running it.
All right. If we were working there, yeah, it's got.
But it's close. It's still close, but.
Yeah, Mr. Sean Tudor said Mama's and Copeg. Max said McDonald's.
You guys are sick, man. You guys are some sick fucks.
B said the B2, which I'm curious on what's on the menu. What's on the menu for the B2, DL?
El Grab Caliente. El Grab Caliente.
Ooh, need me some of that. RP24, not to be confused with Chet Stable, said Dorsia. Yeah. And CMO Ho said that he's a Chili's guy.
Me and that man are literally always at Chili's, so yeah.
I love Chili's, so I'm not mad at that. Chili's is fucking goated. There's one like 10 minutes from here.
And to address what Sean said, I've never been to Mama's. I don't know if you thought. I'm probably not talking about Mama Lisa's. I mean, like, I mean, the name probably is just Mama's, but I've never been there personally. But next time you were around, Sean, too, to hit me up. Let's get some Mama's, bro.
Let's get Mama's. So, what's your favorite DL?
So I'm gonna agree with. I'm gonna agree with you. Where I feel like there's a difference between favorite restaurant and favorite menu. I really can't think of like. I'm just gonna say Outback. I work there. The food there is like it doesn't get bad. Like usually when I work in a restaurant for like more than like a month, I start getting food like on break. If I start getting food like DoorDash from elsewhere or something like that, because like you can only serve it, eat it, smell it for so long.
Much.
But I every day burger, the wings, the wings.
Just
Of
whatever
course,
you.
the Bloomin' Onion. They have some goated ass apps. The Bloomin' Onion, of course, if you want to have
The
a
Bloomin' Onion is
live like
fantastic.
if you want to live like 40 years, like have a couple of those, the Bloomin' Onion will get you right. It's just like 1,900 calories or something like
Oh
that.
my god! Oh my god!
Probably even more than that with the sauce too.
The amount of
Uh,
Bloomin' Onions that we fucking devoured as a group, though.
they're fucking so good though. It's like, look,
I mean, they are. They're addicting.
they're
They're
horrible. They're
addicting.
terrible for you, but they
Bro,
are
that's why
delicious.
I'm
But
glad
everything
Chili's
about
had the onion. Chili's had the onion petals that were like the
yeah, no, that's
same
fire.
thing.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. But you need that. You need that horseradish freaking bloomin' sauce.
Oh yeah,
One last thing on the Outback, the steaks. Of course, it's a freaking
of course it's a
steakhouse.
steakhouse. Yeah.
Their ribeyes to die for. What about you?
All right, all right. I think I got to give mine to. There's so many good ones. If we're going chain
There's
wise, it's like just like big chain wise. I think I'm gonna agree
okay, yeah.
with Joe and go Chili's
Mm,
because there's not a bad thing on there. Those sliders are fantastic. The quesadillas are
yeah.
great. The steaks are pretty good. The fajitas, of course. Their appetizers are great. Their wings, those honey chipotle crispers, fuck,
Bro.
those things hit.
It's the same thing at Outback where like you kind of like when someone asks me like if they knew I worked there, like, oh, you worked here, what should I get? Anything. Literally
Anything,
close
yeah.
your eyes and
Literally,
point at a random spot in the menu and you'll get
that's
something
how I
you
feel
like.
about Chili. That's how I feel about Chili's.
Yeah.
Their queso burger, the
Yeah.
the smoked
Alex
sausage
burger.
burger, the
The Alex
Alex
burger
burger, the
is
classic. It's a classic. But like literally, Chili's is just one of those places where I can look at the menu and be like, "Damn, everything on this sounds fantastic right now."
yeah. Their smokehouse combos when you get like the 3 meats or whatever it is. That's
Mm-hmm.
just
The three
gas.
meats, the two sides, the bread
Mhm.
and the bread. That shit's stupid
And
gas.
and I think Outback had it too. Chili's has Dr Pepper, which is always a plus because you don't find that at most restaurants. I feel
No,
like
most
whenever they
places
because they
don't
have to
have
carry
Dr
Pepsi, I
Pepper.
think. Yeah, because they
Mm-hmm.
carry Coke. So that's pretty goated. Not gonna lie. That's definitely an
Also,
extra bump.
their margaritas are fire,
Never
stupid
had.
fire. Oh, you haven't had a Chili's marg?
No.
We're
I
hitting up
think they made one
Chili's.
for me one time, but it was like pretty shitty because it was
Well, yeah,
freaking
because they
given
was
to
the to
workers.
go, and it was yeah during
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
COVID
exactly.
shit.
If you're giving it to your workers, chances are it's not good.
It's not good. Yeah, so we will be hitting up Chili's
Yeah.
when you're up here because we need that. We need that. Anyways, thank you guys for your great responses. Stay tuned this Saturday, of course, for the question of the week.
Yep.
For next week's movie, which we only got 2 episodes left before our break, not including this one. So got some good stuff planned. We've been thinking, we've been brainstorming. So we'll definitely get that going out to you guys soon. But
Yep.
before we move on to our rating, I think that's the next thing. Yep. Before we move on to that, I did want to read Jacob's text because he did respond.
So much for this being a short episode. I
I
say
know.
this every fucking
Every
week,
time.
man.
Every time. So he said, to be fair, I stopped watching it halfway through. I just didn't get what was even happening. The food didn't even look like food. I felt like it was just thrown in and they didn't explain shit and the characters were dry.
Yes.
And then he just said he'll listen to the podcast and see what we said. He listened to The Last of Us. So yes, the characters
Thank
are
you for
dry.
listening to Watch the Last of Us, Jacob. Appreciate you
Yes.
freaking tuning into the podcast.
Always. So yes, the characters are dry as fuck. We've been saying that this entire fucking podcast. I think you probably shut it off right before the good shit happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right before like the mess and all of that. Because if you're saying you shut it off halfway, that's about when that happens.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine you shut it off after you get to that point because that is the climax.
The turnaround.
Everything is down from there.
So I definitely would recommend if you haven't, maybe pick it up one more time. But if you really don't like it, I also understand that it's just not for you.
There realistically are only 2 likable characters in the entire movie, and for the movie with a cast that big, I understand. Like it's kind of shitty.
Yeah. So, excuse me. But I guess without further ado, we want to get into our ratings.
Yeah, sure. I was gonna go to IMDb, but they're a bunch of fucking cocksuckers.
Yeah, they're fucking that shit's ass now. That shit is ass now. So
if you guys ever want to know, my bad, real quick. If you guys ever want to know which country reviewed the menu the best, because everybody's interested in that, we'll go on IMDb.
Yeah, they don't got the demographics that we like anymore.
Yeah.
So we'll just hop into
geographics. Get me tight.
Yeah, fuck that. We'll just hop into our ratings themselves, starting with. I'll start this one off with story and writing. I believe that I'm going to give. Where the fuck is my notebook? This movie a 3 for story, and actually no. See, this is hard because if we did decimals, I would give it a 2.5.
Yeah, comedies are difficult.
I think for sheer fact of just this movie is enjoyable, I think I'm going to just bump it up to that 3. I mean, it is intriguing. It is, for me at least, it's a good story. I do enjoy the story. I do enjoy like the little message behind it. Like we said, the jokes are good. I like the pacing of it. I just think I can't give it a 4 because it's really there's not much to it either, which is weird to say.
Mm-hmm. Like we said throughout the episode, it is kind of, you got to watch it, you got to experience it to really be like, okay, this is what they're talking about. They're not just talking in circles over and over again. They're semi making sense. But
yeah,
shit, just drop my shit. Story writing for me, I'm gonna give it a 2. I added a 3 originally, but I just added it to another thing we'll talk about when we keep going on. So I have it a 2. What do you got for acting?
Acting, I have at a 2.
I have it a 2 as well because there are 2 characters who acted. In
2 characters that actually acted exactly. I give 1 point to Anya Taylor-Joy, 1 point to Ralph Fiennes, and that's about it. Nothing much I can really add to it. The rest of the characters are unlikable, very poorly acted, but they're also written to be that way. It doesn't really matter to me. They're nothing characters. Then moving on to go into originality, I give that a 3.
Yeah, I give it a 4. This is the part where I was saying where I had a story at a 3, but I was like, I feel like what I like about this movie fits in more with originality than it does with the story. Because I don't think the writing is particularly genius or anything mind blowing, but I think the originality just of like having like a chef kind of thrown off the deep end, how it's like he's doing this because like he in his search for perfection, he never found it. Like it was like a lonely whatever the words he used, which were very eloquently delivered. It's just different. Like you never really expect to super side with the main character, with the kind of like the antagonist, if you want to call him that. Like not to the same way where it's like you literally have him making the division where it's like it's you're either them or you're us. Like where it's like I think he says like the fuck, what do you say? Those who give and those who take, or something like that. I always remember when someone talks about taking. Yeah, exactly. It was something like that. But like even how he makes a distinction between like the rich and the poor, like that, it kind of is like a little good commentary over it. And I think that's the originality where.
Yeah, I think I would actually agree with you there.
Stories kind of just shy away from that now, where it's like, we don't want to be too critical. Where it's like some things you can definitely.
Be a little more critical.
You don't have to pull your punches on. Yeah, you don't have to pull your punches on.
No, I think I would agree with you. Yeah, it definitely makes more sense for what we were saying. We like about it is definitely falls more into the originality than the story. So I think I would agree with you there. Moving on to rewatchability, I have this as a 2. Yeah, this was tough, but I think I have it as a 2. Again, this only being the second time that I've watched it, knowing the quote unquote twist kind of hinders it a little bit. And like I said, some of these characters are dry as fuck, and watching them for as long as we do can get a little old.
Like it's kind of rough, Jacob, if you're still listening to this part, because you kind of watch the part of the movie I wouldn't recommend. It's like if someone wants to watch this movie, like, well, just go to the part where Jacob puts on Jacob, where what the hell is his name? Freaking Jeremy, where Jeremy puts a gun in his mouth. Like that's really like that's kind of like the unofficial start
The
to
switch,
like all
yeah.
the chains and all the like the sequences of events that lead them to obviously the ending of the movie. Because like before that, it's kind of just like so much development and so, like development. Quote,
Yeah,
unquote.
development.
And so much
It's
like
just showing
world
how shitty all
building.
these other characters are.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
exactly. Yeah, we kind of got like exactly everyone got that camera that probably went over to their table to get their little banter, and it's like, all right, these guys are fucking idiots. This couple is literally God knows what's going on with them. These critics are idiots.
Yeah,
Like
idiots. Yeah.
but I agree with you.
So,
2, if it was a little shorter, maybe I would give it a 3, but it's not.
No. And then finishing off with cinematography, I think I'm going to give it a 3. I mean, there's nothing too like spectacular that stands out. However, like I said before, I do enjoy the editing with the interplacing all the courses with like kind of the unofficial acts of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it does look nice. I mean, like the s'more scene looks nice. The fire at the end with Margot eating the burger, it looks really good. Like there are really nice looking scenes in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the food. Jacob said the food didn't look like food, which I mean that's kind of the point of this like high end fancy like thing. It's more art than it is food, and that's part of the commentary that they have about it in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think it looked pretty, like it's supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. I'll give it a 3 as well. I had it as a 2 earlier in the episode, but I switched midway because it's like it's not like it's definitely on the lower end of the 3 like rating, if that makes sense. But
Yeah,
it's not,
I would like it leans more towards a 3 than it does a 4.
Yeah, or it's closer to a 2 than it is a 4, I guess you could say. Where something like that, whatever, doesn't matter.
It's a low 3.
I like, yeah, it's like I like. It looks good. It's just not like something where type of cinematography we're used to talking about, where it's like this is a beautiful looking like maybe a sunset or like an explosion, like that's kind of like it's more than just like the actual event itself, where it's like this is like the art of like the whatever. I'm going too deep into this. I'd give it 3 cinematography. I was gonna start explaining about how the no.
We don't need to go that deep into it. That ain't what this is about. That ain't what this is about here.
Fucking mic away from me. Take my mic away from me.
Well, I will right now because with that, I believe if it adds up for the both of us, we both have a 13 out of 20 for this movie. Yeah, I mean, it's a good movie. I mean, I definitely recommend watching it if you haven't. If you have already watched it, you don't really need to watch it again unless you're really fiending for it. At least not as at least not as soon together as we did. I think only watching them like 6-ish months apart, like that, or at least for me, like didn't really help it. But it still is a great movie. Still recommend watching it if you haven't seen it. And that's about it for me.
That's all I got. Watch the movie if you haven't. And more if you, I think if you're interested in either of the 2 main characters, like if you're interested in either Anya Joy-Taylor or Ralph Fiennes or however you say his name, if you're interested in either one of them, watch it. If you're not, don't, because that's what you have to deal with for an hour and 47 minutes.
Yeah. So, well, thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, as usual, like, comment, subscribe,
let them have it.
Ring that notification bell. Go over to our Instagram at the Staincast. Follow us there. Turn on post notifications where you'll find out every Saturday when we post a teaser and a question of the week, as well as a couple of reels throughout the week themselves. Also, go over to our Redbubble shop in the Instagram bio to buy some merch. And stay tuned. Same time next week where we will be talking about Liam Neeson's Taken.
It's going to be a good one. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.